As voters elect Donald Trump to return to the White House, we're taking a look at potential key actions that voters are seeking from the new administration. President and partner of Maslansky and partners Lee Carter joined us now to discuss. Lee, it has been a long time. It is great to talk to you. So you survey voters. You surveyed them leading up to the election. And I think we're all still trying to get a sense of why they voted the way that they did, what they were prioritizing. What did your research find?
So there's basically a couple things. Number one, people feel really, really negatively about the economy. And we can have all kinds of arguments and debates about whether the economy is strong or not. But the American people don't feel that it is. And that really comes down to the price of goods. It's really about inflation and costs. And so Donald Trump's argument that he opened many of his rallies with, which is, do you feel better today than you did 4 years ago? If you don't, if you don't feel better today, then you must vote for me. That was really something that resonated with voters. The other issue that we saw in all of the exit polling and everything that came out was that immigration was a very, very big issue. And it wasn't just on the border states, it was across the board. So I think it was those two issues that really sealed the deal for him. But more than that, I think it was a referendum on the Biden-Harris administration, where people were saying, it doesn't feel good right now, and I want something better than what it is right now. Kamala Harris never was able to close that argument on what she was going to do differently in her administration than she did during the last 4 years.
Lee, I'm curious, what do you think the Democrats will do in response to this? What do you think they will do? What should they do?
Well, what I think they should do is I think they should take a closer look at how they view half the American people. I think a lot of their time was spent on looking at Donald Trump's rhetoric, and I think they need to look at their own. They spent a lot of time talking about the American people as if they were Nazis, fascists, anti-American, not smart, a whole host of things that voters just ended up really rejecting, and it ended up burying so much of their points.
Lee, can I ask you something about that?
Sure.
There was some of that, and I know President Biden's garbage comment got a lot of pickup, but the stuff on the Trump side was far more vitriolic about the leadership, far more profane, far more nasty in many, many cases. Why do you think that lands? And the sort of milquetoast, criticisms on the left didn't get that same traction.
I think there's two reasons. One is part of Trump's appeal is also one of his Achilles heels, which is he is a bully, and he uses a lot of rhetoric that's extreme, and that is part of the bad side of Donald Trump. The flip side of that is a lot of people think that he doesn't care. He's going to go in and he's going to blow things up, and they're tired of the way things are, and so that's part of who he is. And I think that's one reason why he gets away with it. The second reason is he often targets Democrats not as a whole voting base, but rather as, what did Comrade Kamala or, whatever, Cheating Joe or whatever he wanted to call all these people. He goes after the leaders, not necessarily the party. And I think when people feel like they're coming after them, the voter, that's where there's a problem. And the other piece of all this is Kamala Harris came in and she tried to position herself as a candidate of joy, a candidate of unity. So did Joe Biden. He was going to be the candidate of unity. And so you're held to a different standard. When you're coming in, you're saying, I'm going to be the president for all Americans, not just some. Anything that you say anything that insults the American people makes it seem like, well, are you really? Or are you just the president for the people who agree with you? And so I think that's part of the problem.